Hey guys, welcome back to another plan with me. This week I'm planning from October 24th to the 30th, and I'm using this Rocky Horror Picture Show themed kit from Scribble Prints Co. And I have done this voiceover so many times, and I swear if it doesn't come out well this time, I don't care. It's going up. I'm actually redoing it. I have other plan with me's ready to go. But this voiceover, for whatever reason, was so bad. I sounded like just so bored and so annoyed and like just completely out of it. I don't know what was wrong with me. So I feel like I need to redo it because this is a very special week. This is the week of Janet's Adoptaversary. And if you don't know, that is my cat. I got her 1 year from the 28th. And actually, originally, I was going to use this kit for her birthday week, but I forgot. Her birthday, I believe, is around, or they guess. We'll never know for sure because she was, a rescue, but around July 31st. That's what they're guessing. But it honestly makes way more sense for her Adoptaversary because that's when she and I became one, So that's a little more special. But I originally wanted to just use as many Halloween themed kits as humanly possible in the month of October, but it's fine. And Rocky Horror really sort of is like a Halloween thing. I don't know if they do this anywhere anymore, but like I know back when my mom was young, it was like a huge deal to go to a viewing and like dress up and stuff. And then when I was in college, they did the Rocky Horror Show around Halloween. So to me, it's a very Halloween-y thing. And yeah, I'm really happy I saved it by accident for this week. Also, I have definitely learned my lesson and have been putting Post-it notes on kits that I want to use for specific dates. Also, once again, please excuse my big head. I was doing such a good job at keeping my head and face out of frame, but honestly, like ever since it started getting dark early and I've been running out of time to film, the lighting is so bad in my room that like I just have to get really close in order to see what I'm doing. I do apologize, and I really will work at, not doing that in the future, at least like once I get all caught up. I'm hoping to have like a better schedule, but we'll see, to be determined. But anyway, yeah, as far as putting down this spread, everything is pretty ordinary, as is it always. I don't really, do anything crazy in my planner. I decided to keep this sidebar all full boxes because I wanted to figure out how to use every single box. I did leave one out, but for the most part, I used them all. And then I also did use the date covers this week and managed to find enough date dots to fill it out because I am running low on date dots, and it's never really been a problem, but I don't know, lately I've been using a few date covers here and there. And originally I was just going to write the numbers in with my white gel pen, but it died on me while I was filming this, as you will see right now. But yeah, so this is Janet's Adoptaversary week. And if you don't know, the reason that her name is Janet is actually sort of because of Ilza from Ilza's Melted Plans. I was talking to her about the names, and I don't remember if this was in our conversation, but I was very torn between the names Janet, and I was actually thinking of Janet from Three's Company. Also, my previous cat, her name was Rue McClanahan, after the actress who played Blanche in The Golden Girls. And so, I don't know, that was just on my mind. And then also I was considering naming her Debbie after my best friend's mom. Just 'cause I thought that would be funny. I was just having a really hard time thinking of a cat name as dumb as Brad, Like, I guess I could have named her Chad, and then we'd have a Brad and Chad, but didn't do that. Anyway, so I was torn between those two names, and Ilza pointed out, like, we already have a Brad. It would be insane not to name her Janet, because then we have Brad and Janet from Rocky Horror. So after she said that, it was like, done deal, absolutely. Her name is Janet, and it's perfect. It's like the best cat name now, I think. Personally, I'm a little biased. So yeah, Brad and Janet are on her birthday or Adoptaversary, which is Friday the 28th. And then nothing else matters in the spread. So yeah, that's really the only thing that was like planned. And sort of scary thing to think about, might as well tell you just because I feel like I have a lot of footage to talk through in this video, but I was very close to not getting Janet, and I don't mean like not adopting a kitten, but when I got her, so let's try to keep it short, but when I got her, I knew I wanted another black cat. If I can just go through life always having a black cat, I'll be a happy lady. Of course, my dream is to just find a kitten on the street and make it mine. But if I'm like going to an adoption center, I want a black cat. But besides that, and please don't come in the comments and tell me I'm wrong. I don't know if this is true. It honestly makes sense to me, and we looked it up online just to sort of see what they had to say. But a big reason why I decided originally, this is becoming a long story. Originally, I was planning on getting a cat after I moved out. Because if you don't know, I have a roommate. If you've seen any of my other videos, you know I have a roommate. Oh, here's Janet. And she is a cat named Brad. And she got Brad right in like the beginning, not beginning, like just like the very, yeah, I guess 2020. Now I can't think. Doesn't matter. The point is, it was like peak, what is that word? Like lockdown. So not just COVID, but like lockdown, you know? We got a cat, basically. Like right after you were sort of like, actually, no, it was during a lockdown, wasn't it? I feel like, I don't know. It's been so long at this point, I can't remember. But the point is, he was a COVID kitty. He was not used to being alone at all. And once the two of us started, well, I was always working because I was a nanny. I think I only didn't work for like 6 weeks of the pandemic. And then I worked, or maybe it was even less than that. Maybe it was only a month. But then I worked. My roommate was home. She was out of work. So she was with the cat all the time. And then when she finally started leaving the apartment and he was alone, he couldn't handle it. Like, I would come home and he would just be screaming at the front door. And when I would come inside, he would he would guard me. He would like play defense and would not let me near the front door because he didn't want to be alone. So I was like, okay, well, I'll get a cat. He'll have a friend and I'll have a cat. But I read that because he's a male specifically, that he would do the best with a female kitten. Like, he would feel the least threatened. So number one, I needed a girl. Number two, I wanted a black cat. And number three, we thought a kitten would be best for them to get along. So there was a litter of 3 black kittens at this one adoption center and their mother, and 2 of them were girls. Out of the 2, and I'm just being honest, Janet was the ugly one. She was the ugly one. She also hated being held. The other one was like the cutest kitten you've ever seen in your life, and she was chill being held. She didn't love it, but she was like pretty chill with it. And I was really torn because I was like, should I just get the ugly cat because someone else will adopt the cute one? And I didn't know what to do, just because I really wanted a cat that was like chill being held, because my last cat loved being held and carried around, and so I wanted another one like that. But long story, it's still long. Long story long, the woman who ran the like adoption center told me that the foster mom, if I didn't take the cute cat, she would adopt the cute cat. So that made my decision for me. So I was like, okay, fine. I will take the ugly one. She can have the cute one. Everybody's adopted. Fast forward to now, I think Janet's the most adorable, goofy-looking thing on the planet. I love her so much, and she's so perfect. She's so perfect. She doesn't like being held, but I don't even care. Everything else is perfect. So I'm more than happy. But yeah, so anyway, that's her adoption story. And she and Brad could not care less about my roommate and me. As long as he is Janet, he doesn't care. He loves her. He does not care about us anymore. It's sort of hilarious, the 180 he did. But anyway, long story, and I'm already on Wednesday in the video, so I've got some catching up to do. However, spoiler alert, I do have some issues putting down stickers on Saturday, so I'm not too worried about time. But either way, let's just get into it. I'm sure you have fast forwarded through me talking about cats, so I'm going to shut the hell up and move on. Starting with Monday, the first thing I marked was that I slept till 3 p.m. I know, terrible. I know. And I used a little vampire emoji to mark that. With an appointment label and an application emoji, I marked that I was just doing application stuff because, again, I was job hunting. With a little thing and a thumbs up munchkin, I marked that this is technically the day I voted because I mailed my ballot. With a little thing and a little car from Piper Paper Plans, I marked that I had to fill my tires. With a little thing and a Kisma from Glam Planner, I marked that it was raining. With a squared off box and these munchkins watching something on a laptop, I marked that we've watched the Dahmer finale. Then with a puzzle piece from my friend Ilza, I marked that I worked on the little mini puzzle from hell. Do not recommend. I had done a miniature puzzle in the past and enjoyed it, so I thought I'd enjoy this. No. It was 500 pieces. Every piece was identical in shape, and then the picture was almost identical because it was cherry blossoms and fall foliage in mini. It was awful. It was such a headache. It was so easy to put pieces in the wrong place. I finished it though. Of course I did. Not on Monday. I don't remember what day I finished it, but not on Monday. Moving on to Tuesday, the first thing I marked with a squared off box and this sad baby munchkin, I marked that I was having stimulation overload and I was super stressed. I just too much stuff was going on, and it's so funny, it's only a couple months later now and I can't even remember what was giving me such a hard time that day, but I'm sure it was a lot. With a flag and this Mary Tara with her little vacuum, I marked that I cleaned. With a little thing and a Piper Paper Plans planner, I marked that I planned. Then with a fancy label and this nervous emoji, I marked that I received feedback on my resume. One of my coworkers / sort of boss used to work in recruiting and she was helping me. And I have a really hard time looking at critique or critiques. I don't know. I'm not good at taking notes, I should say. On all of my papers throughout school, I never once read the notes unless we had to rewrite the paper as part of the grade. That is the only time I would ever look because I was too embarrassed that the person who read my paper knew how terrible. You know what I mean? Even if I got a 95, I didn't want to know what I got wrong. I just didn't care. I didn't want to know. I was too embarrassed. And so having someone look at my resume and send me notes on that, very difficult, but had to do it. With a little thing and this munchkin doing a puzzle, I marked that I worked on my big puzzle at my apartment, which is a nice 1,500 piece, big normal size puzzle. With a little thing and this mind blown munchkin head, I marked that my frame just smashed to the ground. And I'll try to keep this story brief because I just went on a million years about my cat. But this picture frame was held up with command strips, and it wasn't a problem with the command strip sticking to the wall. The command strip itself separated. And my theory is that it was all the vibration from the busy road. This is a very old building and it shakes when big trucks go by on that main road. And I think the vibrations did something and separated the command strip, and the picture, which was light, by the way, it was a very light photo, came crashing down. So that sucked. And then the final thing on Tuesday with a fancy label and this munchkin watching TV, I marked that I watched Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. By the way, it is not part of the Halloween franchise, which is so weird to me that it's called Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. It's not Halloween 3. It's a separate movie. It's so weird. I don't know if I'd recommend. It was slightly entertaining, I will say that, but it was a weird movie. There was a really gross age gap love affair going on. But yeah, not about Michael Myers. This movie was about some crazy guy making masks that turn children into monsters. So yeah, I don't know. It was okay. It wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen. Moving on to Wednesday, the first thing I marked with an appointment label and a Tara shopping was that I walked to Aldi. With a little thing and another Kisma, I marked that it rained again. With a little thing and a munchkin listening to something on headphones, I marked that I listened to The First Shot, which is the prequel to The Last Mrs. Parrish. It's very short. It's not a novel. It's what do they call it? A novella or whatever. It's very, very short. I've listened to it in a couple hours. It was decent. It was okay. It's not a standalone thing at all. Definitely listen to The Last Mrs. Parrish first. With a fancy label and a computer from SPC, I marked that I did some work. This was I think this might have even been the last day I got work, until I was job hunting or until I was employed again. But I can't be sure. With a fancy label and this Paper Crown Prints notepad, I marked that I rewrote my resume because my coworker only had a little bit of time to just glance at my resume quickly and give me some quick notes, and then I was going to rewrite it, and then she was going to go through it with a fine-tooth comb. So I rewrote it ASAP because I did not want to seem ungrateful for her taking the time. Then with a fancy label and these Carly Plans measuring cups, I marked that I baked brownies. With a squared off box and these munchkins watching TV, I marked that we watched Barbarian, and I loved it. I loved it. It's one of my favorite movies that I watched in all of 2022. Loved it. With a little, moving on to Thursday with a little thing and a planner. I marked that I planned with a half box and these Fox and Pip girls walking. I marked that my roommate and I walked to Old City to help her cousin cut her old cat's nails. He's very difficult with that. With an appointment label and this random ice cream cone deco, I marked that my roommate's cousin bought us ice cream, even though I was really only there for moral support because it only took 2 people to cut the cat's nails. She still bought me ice cream. That was so sweet. With a squared off box and this munchkin in bed, I marked that once we got back, I took a really nice nap under my electric blanket. It just felt so good. With a little thing and this SPC hair dye sticker, I marked that I toned Joe's hair. With a flag and a TV icon, I marked that we watched the challenge, and that was it for Thursday. Moving on to Friday, the first thing I marked with a half box, old SPC balloons, and a little Sweet Quiet designed black cat. I marked that this was Janet's Adoptaversary. With a little thing and this middle finger munchkin, I marked that I was in a horrible mood. I don't remember why. With an appointment label and this random bag lift over from a kit, I marked that we ran some errands. Joe and I ran some errands with a little thing and I believe a Sticky Perks smartphone. I marked that I called my grandma. Then Joe and I got Taco Bell for the first time in ever, maybe over a year for me. And I was so mad I didn't get a 7-layer burrito. I should have gotten a 7-layer burrito, but I did get a cheese quesadilla and I love their quesadillas. Chipotle sauce or whatever on it. So good. And I used a little Sticky Perks Taco Bell sticker to mark that. With a half box and another Vampire Moni, I marked that we got dressed up. My roommate, Joe, and I got dressed up for an 80s dance party. And my roommate and I went as Wayne and Garth from Wayne's World, and it was uncanny. I should definitely post the picture on my story of our costumes just because I can't believe how similar we looked. And it was the easiest costume in the world. All she did was buy a Wayne's World hat and we had everything else. We really weren't even dressing up. It was just so easy. And it was fun. Everybody we came across knew exactly who we were. Obviously my hat gave it away, but she was Garth and she was walking around alone and everybody was like, oh my God, you're Garth. And she wasn't even wearing a costume. It was great. With a little thing and this Pinocchio nose, Munchkin head, I marked that we dodged a rave. Again, I'll try to keep it brief, but my roommate met some people at the 80s night and they invited us just to hang out and talk and have some more drinks at a friend's house. They gave us the address and we pull up to an abandoned warehouse with flashing rave lights inside, and it's on the 4th floor or something ridiculous like that. So we climb up this staircase that's outside the building. It was wild. We go in and the guy's like, oh, it's $40 a person. We're like, no. And actually one of the guys that she met at the 80s night offered to pay for all 3 of us. That's a lot of money for people you don't even know. And we were like, yeah, no. Then this other guy comes out and he's big and he's like, you're either in or out. The cops are coming. And we're like, oh, we're leaving. And I was honestly so happy. I am too old. I didn't even want to hang out at somebody's house. I wanted to go to the 80s night and then go home and go to bed. So I was just trying to be polite. And I was so happy that we didn't have to go to this stupid rave or to anybody's house. Moving on to Saturday, the first thing I marked with a little thing and this, I think this is cereal, but I used it to mark that I ate some soup with a fancy label and this, I don't remember what this sticker is called, this little stuck in the house munchkin. I marked that don't make me go outside. It was freezing cold this day and I was supposed to go to a haunted attraction with Joe and some friends and I really didn't want to, but he decided that we were going to go and I was going to suck it up and be a good sport. So under that with a little thing and a car icon, I marked that I had to pick Joe up. He was recording music or practicing or something at a studio. And it was 20 minutes in the direction of the haunted attraction. So it didn't make sense for him to drive back to Philly and then, so I just picked him up. Then under that with a half box and this Once More with Love haunted house scene that you saw me struggle with, I marked that we went to Valley of Fear, and it was so cold that it honestly, like, I couldn't even enjoy it. Like, I wasn't even thinking about being scared or that anything looked cool. I just kept thinking to myself, all right, one more attraction and I get to be warm. I just have to get through this one last haunted house and I get to be warm. It was not fun, but I guess I'm glad I did it just to like be a good sport, because I'm not a very good sport. And also, they don't have all of their good actors anymore, which is expected. Nobody stays at a haunted house forever, but that was sad. They were one of the best just because they had the best actors for their haunted attraction. With a little thing and these mini fries from Piper Paper Plans, I marked that we stopped at Burger King because Joe wanted a milkshake, and you could get free fries if you got purchased something, so I got fries, and they're delicious. I feel like nobody talks about Burger King, but Burger King fries and nuggets are pretty good. And they have Hershey Sundae pie, which is the best dessert on earth. With a fancy label and a Carly Plans TV, I marked that I just fell asleep while we tried to watch Terrifier 2. You know when you're freezing and your body is finally like warm and cozy, it instantly falls asleep. Like, that was me. I couldn't do it. And then finally, moving on to Sunday, the first thing I marked with another vampire motif was that I slept in. Then with a squared off box and a vacuum sticker from the GP studio, I marked that we cleaned our cars for pretty much the entire day. I went in on the stupid Nissan with like a Q-tip. Like, I went in with a Q-tip to clean that car and tons of vacuuming, and it was officially clean. And then, yeah, if you follow me on Instagram, you know, stupid car. With a little thing and a Pumpkin Paper Code Terra takeout sticker, I marked that we got Chinese. Then we watched SNL, which I marked with another TV with a squared off box, and this cart full of boxes, I marked that we organized Joe's basement. Then I marked that I was having back pain, honestly probably from all of the cold weather, because I clench up because of that, so that might have been it, or all the vacuuming, I'm not sure, I'm just at that age. And then finally, the last thing on Sunday, with an emoji in bed on their laptop, I marked that I deleted emails. So yeah, that is it for this week. I hope you enjoyed. I hope some of you cared about my cat story and didn't just fast forward or skip to a different video, but I totally understand if you did. But anyway, yeah, that's it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.